Good evening and welcome to this special Vote 2014 edition of Arizona Horizon. I'm Ted Simons. Tonight's show is a debate. We will hear from candidates competing in the Republican primary for 2 open spots on the Arizona Corporation Commission. As with all of Arizona Horizon's debates, this is not a formal exercise. It's an open exchange of ideas, an opportunity for give and take between candidates for one of the state's most important offices. As such, interjections and even interruptions are allowed, provided that all sides get a fair shake, and we will do our best to see that that happens. The Arizona Corporation Commission is mostly known for its regulating authority over public utilities, but the Commission's responsibilities also include judicial, executive, and lawmaking authority. 4 Republican candidates are competing for 2 open spots on the Commission. They are, in alphabetical order, state lawmaker Tom Farese, Doug Little, who has worked in the computer software industry, former state lawmaker Lucy Mason, and former mayor of Paradise Valley, Vernon Parker. Each candidate will have 1 minute for opening and closing statements, and earlier we drew numbers to see who goes first, and that honor goes to Vernon Parker.
And I hope I'm first on the ballot, and my auctioneer skills will begin. Yes, I am a graduate of Georgetown University's Law School. I served as a special assistant to President George H.W. Bush. I was the general counsel of a federal department. Also, I was nominated by President George W. Bush and unanimously confirmed by the United States Senate as an assistant secretary. I have my own small business, and I served on the Paradise Valley Town Council for 6 years, never missed a single meeting, never missed a single vote, served as the mayor of Paradise Valley, and we had some very, very difficult times. And during those times, I worked with the council, worked with our town manager, and it was in 2008, some of the most difficult times that our country has ever faced, and our town faced the same difficulties. And in that, we cut our budget by 30%, cut our staff by 20%, but the thing that I'm most proud of is that I was asked by the Speaker of the House to give the rebuttal to the President of the United States of America, someone coming from my background. That was awesome, and I would love your vote. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Our next opening statement, we turn to Lucy Mason.
Thank you, Ted. I am Lucy Mason, and I'm a former Prescott City Council member, and I was elected to and served 8 years in the House of Representatives, 4 of those years on energy and water. I have a lot of experience in working on energy issues, working with all the players, working with the utilities, working with the water companies on some of the most serious issues that face us here in the state. I'm married to Rex. I have 4 grown children and 5 grandchildren, but what that means to me is that I am a problem solver. I have worked very hard in my legislative career to solve problems, and I keep hearing that from the folks that I worked with from the utilities. They tell me all the time how I worked to bring them together to solve really tough solutions. I am very, very proud of my record. I'm very proud of how I've worked with people in budget issues in tough times, and I'm asking for your vote.
Very good. Thank you very much. Tom Farese now with our next opening statement.
Hi, my name is Tom Farese. My wife Casey and I have been married for 15 years. We have 4 children, Jack, Maddie, Tommy, and Allie. I serve as the CEO of a small business in Mesa called The Hive, which is an education software and services company. I've served in the legislature for the last 4 years, the last 2 years as the chairman of Commerce and the chairman of the International Affairs Ad Hoc. My focus is on making sure that Arizona is in the right direction. I believe that rightfully we are the capital of the Southwest, and I think that economic development needs to be paramount, foremost. I think that jobs solve a lot of problems. We've just come out of the worst recession in our lifetime. And I believe that at the Corporation Commission, we have a tremendous opportunity to improve the economy and put Arizona in the right direction. And so I'm asking for your support.
Thank you very much. And Doug Little now with our final opening statement.
Hi, I'm Doug Little. And as Ted mentioned, I am a retired computer software executive. I spent 30 years in the technology industry, with my last position being Vice President of North America Sales for a $400 million software company. 15 of those 30 years that I spent in the technology industry were directly related to industries involved in energy production, energy generation, management, and operations of energy companies. So the reason I'm running for this office is that I have a great deal of experience having actually done this from a feet on the ground perspective. I've been in Arizona for 16 years. I'm married. To my wife Linda, I have a 24-year-old daughter Michaela who just graduated from ASU, and I'm very happy to be here tonight. And I would also ask for your support in voting for Tom and I this August.
All right, thank you very much. Let's get it going here with the primary responsibility of the Corporation Commission. What is it? Vernon?
Oh, without a doubt, it is to protect the ratepayers, because what we have in our state is that we have regulated monopolies, and under the Arizona Constitution, Article 15, Section 3, it gives the Corporation Commission the authority and the de jure right to protect the ratepayers, because what we're dealing with is we are dealing with regulated monopolies, and so the Corporation Commission, along with RUCO, they are there to make sure that that it's a fair and balanced playing field.
Lucy, what do you see as a primary responsibility of the Corporation Commission?
Well, again, I have to say, protecting the ratepayer, you know, the bill payer, the person that is a taxpayer, whether it is an individual, whether it's a business, whether it's an industry, we are taxed to death. And I see that we have to stand up always with the ratepayer.
Tom?
Well, you know, Ted, the commission does a number of things. There are 9 departments there. But foremost, of course, is setting the rates for the utilities. And I think Vernon and Lucy are dead on. Protecting the ratepayer is key, but I think more specifically is how we do that. We must focus on a balanced portfolio, balancing safe, clean, reliable energy at the lowest possible price.
Primary responsibility, what do you see?
I'm in a complete agreement with Tom. Essentially, the primary role of the commission is to set the rates that consumers pay for electricity, water, and natural gas. And as Tom was saying, in order to make sure that we deliver clean, reliable energy at the lowest possible prices, what we have to have is a balanced energy portfolio. And unfortunately, a lot of our ratepayers in Arizona don't really understand the importance of the commission and how it affects their daily lives. I mean, more than any other office in state government, the commission reaches into the pocketbooks of every single person.
Vernon, do you think that the commission should promote renewable energy in Arizona?
Absolutely, but let me just comment quickly on something that Doug said, but they may not understand the nuances, but what they do understand is when they get their utility bill. I got mine today. I opened it, and I said to myself, oh my goodness, this is a very, very big bill. And so, you know, they do understand that. But getting back to your question as far as renewables are concerned, without a doubt, we live in one of the most energy-rich states in the world. And so I think the marketplace is a definite driver to make sure that renewables are sustainable. But renewables will be without a doubt, a part of Arizona, not just today, but in the future.
You agree with the renewable energy standard?
Yes.
Agree with the standard?
I do.
You think it should be changed in any way?
You know, at this point, I don't. There may be some time in the future where we need to do that. We're going to have new technologies coming on board. You know, it's not going to be just solar, but solar is going to be improving, and there are going to be other technologies that are going to be coming in that are going to be very viable that we need to pay attention to. And yeah, I think at some point we may need to revisit that.
Revisit that, you think?
I'll tell you, not only do I support it where it is right now, but I think people need to understand we're a leader nationally and internationally in solar, photovoltaic, and nuclear. And so I think we're in a good spot, and we need to make sure we maintain that.
For those who don't think we're in a good spot and they're not happy with that standard, how would you respond?
Well, here's the thing, Ted. What you need to understand is that every different type of generation technology has a cost profile. And if we're going to keep costs as low as possible, we have to be mindful of that cost profile and balance it correctly. For example, nuclear has a leveled cost of about 2.5 cents a kilowatt hour. Clean coal is about 3.5 cents. Natural gas is about 4.5 cents. But some of our renewables, like photovoltaic and solar concentrators, are in the 14 to 20 cent range. So what happens is if we have too much renewables in our portfolio, costs would necessarily go up.
Can you have too many renewables in your portfolio?
Absolutely not, because I'm a firm believer in the marketplace, and the marketplace will determine who succeeds and who fails. And we have seen a lot of strides when we look at certain portfolios that we thought were dead, and then they resurrect themselves. But I am a firm believer in that the marketplace should be the driver in these situations.
Is it possible? Please respond.
Can I comment?
Yes.
Europe has been way ahead of us in exploring renewables. They've been down this path, and in fact, one of the things I'd like to point out is that Germany currently has a renewable energy portfolio that involves 33% renewables. And what you need to understand is the cost impact that has on the consumer. Germany's energy, on average, costs 29.5 cents a kilowatt hour. If we start dramatically increasing the percentage of renewables before the cost profile associated with it goes down, what happens is rates are going to necessarily go up. And in the case of Germany, you know, we're talking about 9.5 cents an average kilowatt hour rate in the wintertime and 14 cents a kilowatt hour in the summertime in Arizona.
Ted, may I add something to that? I'd like to give two sides here. On one hand, last week I got to meet with executives from eBay in California. eBay loves Arizona, and there is talk inside of the corporate offices of them moving the entire company to Arizona. I would love to see that. Now, in order to get eBay to come out here, they have an energy policy. They want to be 100% renewable. That's something that we need to talk about. Here's the other side of the coin. What's the largest user of electricity in Arizona? It's the Central Arizona Project, bringing water in from the Colorado River. And when does it move the water? It moves it at nighttime. And so you rely on a source of energy for our largest user that works at night. So where's the balance between these two things? It is there, and that's what we want to make sure.
We're hearing balance, but we're also hearing you could possibly have too much in the way of renewables in a portfolio.
And the marketplace.
And
should
the
determine
marketplace.
that.
Let's get Lucy's response here.
You know, I think that there's room here for the new technologies that are going to be coming in. And they are. I mean, I'm hearing about them almost on a daily basis. And when I was in the legislature, I heard the same type of thing. There's this big push to try and get us energy independent here in this country. And there are ways to do that. And yes, there needs to be a balance, and there needs to be an investigation on how can we best do this. APS right now is doing a study in Flagstaff on solar, and how is that going to impact, what are the costs, and how is that going to impact the ratepayer? We need to have those results.
Can I make an observation?
Quickly, please.
Talking about energy independence, right now today, we have a 180-year supply of coal in the United States. We have a 200-year supply of natural gas in the United States. We have the resources to be able to generate energy and without going to outside sources right now.
Very quickly.
And we have an infinite sun.
We do. Very quickly, you mentioned clean coal earlier. Is there such a thing as clean coal?
Oh, it's all over the map. It's all over the map. We have all different grades of coal. We happen to have right up here in Arizona in the northeast part of our state, we have a coal plant that is actually burning very well, and the emissions are next to nothing.
Such a thing as, Vern, if such a thing as clean coal?
Yeah. Well, here's, one of the things that I think I'm flabbergasted about is what the EPA has done. They have inserted themselves in the state of Arizona. We need to call upon the Attorney General and the Governor to make sure that the EPA steps out, because what happens is this, and I'll be very quick here,
yes.
Because we have cap water, we have water from the Colorado River that's being pumped up to the desert, 2,000 feet, and if that goes up in cost, then every ratepayer in this state will suffer. And so we must make sure that we curtail unelected officials creating laws in our country that affects the state of Arizona and the ratepayers.
Yeah, the EPA, or the Employment Prevention Agency, has been a real problem in Arizona. But I will say that I've compared the Navajo Generating Station to other coal plants in the East Coast, and it's night and day. What the Navajo Generating Station does is top rate. They raise the bar, and I think they should be applauded for what they do, and instead they're being attacked. And the difference that they're making, the issue is the visibility at the Grand Canyon cannot be determined by the human eye. And so what they're doing is they're jeopardizing energy, which means the economy in Arizona, for something that is fractional and not determined by the natural eye.
And I want to underline what Tom just said. The Navajo Generating Station exceeds emission standards set by the EPA for plants that were built and started in 2012, and it's a 30-year-old plant.
I want to start with you on my next question regarding net metering, the monthly fees for rooftop solar users. Is net metering a good thing?
It's a very complex issue. And the reason it's complex is because there are a lot of factors that we have to consider. The big issue is how do we make sure that everyone pays their fair share to maintain the grid? And the analogy that I would use is what we do with gasoline tax for highway maintenance. All people that buy gasoline pay a tax, and that goes to highway maintenance. If you have an electric car, you use less gasoline. And as a result of using less gasoline, you pay less taxes into the gasoline tax. But you still use the roads. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't have electric cars, not at all. But what I'm saying is that the grid should be maintained and everyone should pay their fair share.
How do you pay a fair share when it sounds like, just in general terms, whether you want to use gasoline or what we're talking about specifically here, it doesn't seem sustainable? It doesn't seem sustainable, that particular model.
Well, let me take a huge step back here. First of all, I love what the solar industry is doing. I think it's great. And what we're going to see in the next decade is nothing short of amazing. Once the battery technology matures, we're going to see areas on the reservations, areas in third world countries that are going to have sustainable independent energy for the first time, and it should be applauded. This issue of net metering should have been handled in a rate case. I would have preferred to see it that way because you need to be able to look at it in depth and look at it at all sides. It is sustainable. It can work. You just have to make sure you find the balance, and that's done in a rate case.
If it's done in a rate case, that means few and far between, and some suggested it needed to be done quicker. But just net metering in general, is this a sustainable model? Is it fair?
Well, look, it's the law in 43 states and the District of Columbia, and it's, for the viewers, a simple way to describe it is that, it's like rollback minutes on your cell phone. And so I think that net metering has its place. I agree that it should have been decided in a rate case, and I also agree that the commission took the right stand because all the factoring or the arguing parties, they all agreed that this should have been done. But it should be in a rate case because I think that in the APS rate case is coming up in 2015. RUCO can step in, we can have testimony, and we can actually see what net metering really, the effect that net metering has.
Very quickly, please, go on to Lucy.
Can I say too, in watching that thing go down, there were forces from out of the state that really disappointed me. That issue is about Arizona, and Arizona has a future as the capital of the Southwest. And to have other companies from out of state come in and act like they did, they need to know Arizona is a great place to do business, but they need to work with us and not
Lucy,
against
please.
us.
I completely agree about the rate case setting. The net metering issue belongs in the Corporation Commission to be studied and to be listened to, and this is that judicial part of our Corporation Commission. You've got to hear all sides of this before you can actually make solid decisions. But I do agree, I do want to say that I do agree with the decision that the Corporation Commission made with that $5, 70 cents per kilowatt hour. I think that was a good solution for the time being, but we do need to open that case up again.
Let's talk about the controversy regarding taxes on leased solar panels.
Thank you.
Should solar firms pay that tax?
Well, first of all, what I disagree with the most is that we have unelected officials in our state passing laws that affect seniors, churches, seniors, churches, schools, because what we have seen is that this should have gone through the legislature. It should have been signed by the governor, but we had outside forces or big special interests coming in, levying this tax. Who
are these special interests? Who are you talking about here?
Well, I mean, the lobbying forces here, one of our biggest corporations in the state, they said that they supported this tax. APS said that they supported it, but it should not have been passed by an unelected official in this state. It should have gone through the legislature. It should have been signed by the governor. Just real quickly, it's because we have seniors on fixed incomes, we have churches, we have nonprofits, we have schools, and these folks lease this. They are not they don't own this, and so it should have gone through.
Lucy, you described this earlier as crony capitalism.
I did.
Explain, please.
I was very unhappy because of what we saw as utilities, industries coming in, and Tom made a good point about outside interests coming in as well. When you see lobbyists being paid millions of dollars throughout this whole debate, where does that money come from? And you have to look at the utilities in some cases. I'm very unhappy with this particular issue, because what happened was, like Vernon was saying, is that it was a tax without the daylight of the legislature, without passing that. It was in the shadows of the bureaucracies, and I was furious about this because it's taxation without representation. It was literally a letter that went to the governor.
Tom, please.
I'll tell you, on one side, there are folks that say it's a new tax. On the other side, there's folks that say that this is taxes that they should have been paid. Lucy and I will both attest to this. Serving in the legislature, the Arizona legislature is a very interesting body. Is that the understatement of the day?
Yeah.
They will be handling this next session, and this will all come out. We'll understand the issue completely. It should be handled in the legislature, and it will be.
There's been some talk, perhaps even among those here at this table, that this is an example of APS trying to slow or even eliminate rooftop solar. That valid?
I don't think so at all. APS has been tremendously supportive of solar in the past, based on my experience in what I've seen them do, particularly utility scale solar, because utility scale solar is something that actually they can use to balance their portfolio. Tom and I were fortunate enough to go down to the Solana plant down in Gila Bend, and we were introduced to some really exciting technology down there. With the storage capability that they have down there, they can actually keep that plant operating into the peak usage times. They can keep it going 6 hours after the sun goes down.
Ted, to that point, back in the late 70s, I got to walk into one of these large mainframe computer rooms. That's the feeling that when you're at the Solana plant. These batteries are bigger than this room. They're full of salt, great technology. That's the future in Arizona.
We saw the same thing.
You
But
know,
go ahead, Lucy.
we were there, and I just have to say it took my breath away when I stood up there and looked at the 3 square miles of these photovoltaic mirrors and how they track the sun. It really is an incredible. But I want to also add that this is something that I worked with APS on when I was energy chairman. It was because of the laws that I helped to write and get passed that we actually have that facility out there. So that's one of the things.
Well,
I'm
the
really
facility
proud
is
of.
wonderful, but I think the question was, what does APS look like as far as rooftop solar is concerned? And so when you want to impose a tax on, seniors, churches, schools, nonprofits, that does not pass the smell test, that does not go through the legislature, that tells me something completely different. Now, APS is a wonderful company. They've done great things in our state, but I also believe that we have to look out for the seniors who have rooftop solar. We have to look out for the churches and the nonprofits and the schools. So we can't just say because Solana was a wonderful
With that in mind, we've got about 30 seconds left, so I need like 10 seconds from each. Is that a fair tax that's on the solar panels, on the lease?
First of all, I don't like any new taxes at all, but recognize that businesses pay these kinds of taxes on property that they own and lease.
Okay.
So this is not new.
Is it fair?
I'm going to say the reason that I have a problem with it, and my answer to your question is no, the reason I have a problem with it isn't whether or not they should be paying it because other people do. It's the timing of it. They haven't been paying it up till now, and so if they should be paying it, it should be done in a way where it doesn't surprise the business and make it so that they can't operate.
It's 10 seconds.
It's very unfair because these folks are leasing. They are not the property owners.
Lucy?
I don't like it at all, and I've never supported it. I won't support it.
All right. Each candidate will now give a 1-minute closing statement, and going in reverse order of the opening statements, we start with Doug Little.
Thanks, Ted. Ladies and gentlemen, you've had an opportunity to hear all 4 of us. Tom and I are running together as a slate, and we have a couple things that are going for us. First of all, we have deep background in technology. We're also both businessmen. We understand the things required to evaluate the rate cases and the technology that we're seeing in the commission. What I'd like to do is just remind everyone that our primary objective is to deliver clean, reliable energy at the lowest possible price. We want to represent the ratepayer in Arizona, and we want to accomplish this keeping our energy prices low through a balanced energy portfolio. thoughtful, balanced.
And that's it. All right.
it.
Thank you very much. And for our next closing statement, we go to, I believe we go to Tom Faris. Yes, we do.
Thank you. Appreciate those kind words from Doug, and I echo it. I have enjoyed teaming up with him. I have a background like many of you. I come from an immigrant family. My grandfather came to the United States as a teenager, worked in the steel mills in Pennsylvania, was able to put 8 kids through college, had a small store, and for me it really is the American dream. And why I love Arizona, and why I think Arizona is so special, is there are a lot of places in the country that dream doesn't exist anymore, but here it does. 10 to 15,000 people move to Arizona every month, often with one career, leaving it, coming out here to a completely different life. I want to take that American dream in Arizona and I want to grow on it. Energy plays a big part in that. More than half of the businesses in Arizona are started in people's homes, including my business. It started in the family room, a lot of computers around the house. My wife wasn't crazy about it, but I'll tell you, what people pay for energy has an impact on jobs and job growth, and that's why I'm asking for your support.
All right. Thank you very much. Our next closing statement, Lucy Mason.
Thank you, Ted, very much. This has been delightful. There's many things that we all agree on, but I have to tell you that I am as a person who has worked in the energy industries, with the energy industries, and with the water issues that we have in this state. I have worked tirelessly with folks working towards solutions that we have and that we need. I will not ever support the tax increase on solar at this point. I will always look for fair resolutions. This is my reputation. This is what I do. My family comes from four generations deep in this state. I have a lot of ancestors that are buried here, and we helped settle this state. We can help grow this state. Vernon and I are running together, and we're running as a team to solve a lot of these issues.
All right. Thank you very much. And our final closing statement, we turn to Vernon Parker.
Yeah, thanks so much. Look, you guys, for the last year, millions and millions of dollars have been spent by special interests to influence regulators, to influence corporation commissioners. You can spend $1 million, you can spend $1 billion, you can spend $1 trillion, and I will always be there for you. I will always look you in the eye and say that I am there to protect you, the ratepayer, not special interests whatsoever. I think of my own grandmother who lived on a fixed income, and I think that, you know, during those days where she had to pay her bills, and that we need someone there to protect her. You out there, I will protect you. I can guarantee you that. I will be there to protect the ratepayers. And please, if you like what you heard, this is a clean elections debate. I need $5 from you. Go to VernonBParker.com and donate. And Ricky Bobby, I got $5 from you.
Okay, thank you, candidates, and thank you for watching this special Vote 2014 Clean Elections debate featuring the Republican candidates for Arizona Corporation Commission. Our next debate will take place Tuesday, July 1st, when we hear from Republicans running for Secretary of State.
Thank you, Ted.
That is it for now. I'm Ted Simons. Thank you so much for joining us. You have a great evening.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Eight, members of your Arizona PBS station. Thank you.